I'll give you a general idea of how to play against a certain matchup, what you don't want to do in a certain matchup, and maybe a few key moves for literally the whole cast. And this is like, what, 40 plus characters? I'll try to cover this in 30 minutes. I'll try to cover it in 30 minutes. And we're starting with Alisa. Alisa is one of those characters that poke you to death. It doesn't matter what way, matter or form she's gonna do it. She can do it offensively, defensively, or neutral. She's kind of like Steve, but a little bit different. So she's just mainly gonna be stacking up a bunch of small stuff. So that could be stuff like down back 3, then moving away, going for baits, and doing down back 1 to see if you whiff a high or a mid. Checking with while standing 4s, back DF1s and back 1s. Then she could check with a safe DF2, which is pretty annoying. Her jab strings just are pretty much there just to allow her to check again. Yeah, this 12 frame mid is very, very important, along with this really good backdash. And that's mainly what she's going to be focusing on. But of course, again, she can do it in any way, shape, or form. So if she wanted to do it offensively, she'd always go straight into down 3 and, go straight for these full crouch mix-ups. Or she could instantly just do running moves and get the big reward and check you again with another running 2, like a la Dragunov. So since she can excel pretty much at most ranges and move around in most ranges, you want to make sure she anytime she gets something big, let's say like a running 2, let's say she gets like a running 2, right? You block it. Don't give her the opportunity to do something big. Like, you want to eliminate as much big things as you can, because she has that ability compared to Steve. Steve doesn't have big stuff aside from down back 3 too, which is very, very short range. Here in Alisa's case, she could do something like down 3 plus 4. You can see that range is kind of far. She could do stuff like down 3. She could do stuff like back 4-4. She could do stuff like down back 4. Those are the small stuff you want to get rid of, and you need to get rid of those stuff immediately as when playing as Hwoarang. So your optimal punish back 4-4 is dash up 3. You'll always get the launch, and it'll always register as a launch punish. You always want to do that. And of course, when you block down 3, it depends on which range you block down 3. So I could recommend maybe going for maybe just while standing 4-4 or maybe while standing 3. But of course, if you know it's launch punishable from that range, launch it. Like, don't let her get away with it. You want to focus more on playing her in small areas where she does down back 3 while standing 4 and doesn't allow small checks, because she's not sure on whether that she can do those big stuff. But of course, if the Alisa just goes straight up big, then you need to handle those 50-50s and their unga-bunga tendencies. But when it comes more focused on neutral or defense or building up their offense slowly, you want to play along with them, because typically when you're playing along with them, there will be opportunities for you to move around. Let's say she does a check DF1 and you check back with DF1 and you backdash, and maybe she whiffs a move, you could get like a back 3. Or DF1 check into a forward 3, and then maybe they don't press a button. Or if they press a button, it's going to be like down back 1, right, to evade. And you could easily do like maybe an armored move like LFS back 3 or armor through whatever option they do, and then do down 3-4 and get your small mix-up, check, and then get out. And then do the same thing over and over again. And typically when she's gonna panic, her panic would be, it's a typical universal toolkit where she can do a hop kick, a down jab, or down back 1. Down back 1 being the unique portion for Alisa. And that's what you have to watch out most of the time. You have to structure your offense or your flamingo string, or what you're gonna check with, to make sure it doesn't usually lose to down back 1. You have to think about it in the back of your head. And of course, when Hwoarang's unable to do most of that, and if he loses to down back 1, like he keeps forcing the highs. Typically, as Alisa, you're going to win a lot, and you want to just shut down most of the mix-ups at the start. So you don't want to get shut down at the start as Hwoarang. And if they start shutting you down at the start, you need to take major risks immediately. And that goes for all matchups, by the way. That goes for all matchups. If they stop you at the first mix-up, you want to take that risk immediately, because you cannot get stopped at the first mix-up. You want them to give you the first mix-up. At minimum, you deserve to have the first mix-up. If you cannot get the first mix-up, you're in major trouble in any matchup. It doesn't matter how it gets played. But yeah. So again, I mentioned the key moves earlier, but let's go through them again. So mainly down back 3, minus 12 low, minus 12, minus 13, one of the two. Of course, classic mids, running 2 major plus, down 3, know when it's launch punishable, when it's not. That's about it typically. It's a very small kit of safe moves that are gonna just keep poking you non-stop. And of course, magic 4. Sure, it's 13 or 14 frames, but this could always hurt a lot. So that's typically Alisa matchup in general. So let's Akuma.